Join me now, presidential historian Rick Shenkman. He's the best-selling author of 6 books on American political history. His latest, Just How Stupid Are We? Facing the Truth About the American Voter. Good to have you with us.
I'm glad to be here.
Rick, let's turn to the meeting today between what is obviously a man considered to be by the American public to be a failed president, and a man who brings with him great the hopes and aspirations of most Americans. This transition, do you expect it to be, when we move to the substantive issues, do you expect it to be a smooth and orderly one?
Well, I do, and it's because Obama seems to have learned the lessons of the transitions that went south. He's not repeating the mistakes of Carter and Clinton, and both of them had the worst transitions in modern presidential history.
And why were those the worst?
Well, first of all, Obama right now has already gone ahead and he's started to fill out his White House staff. Both President Clinton and Carter, they put that off. Clinton first decided he was going to go pick his cabinet, and not until a week before the inauguration did he finally get around, for instance, to hiring a White House counsel. He reversed the traditional practice, and it led to enormous problems. In Jimmy Carter's case, he had a problem where he had a campaign staff and he had a transition staff, and they hated each other. Here we've got a case where Obama is already integrating both the transition staff and the campaign staff, so he's off to a much better start.
His transition, his co-chairman, John Podesta, leading the effort, saying that President Obama, when he takes office on January 20th, will be using the executive orders, and implying that it will be with some ferocity, if you will, to reverse policies of the Bush administration. Anything unusual in that approach?
No, it's what all presidents do. When President Bush came into office, within his first week, he was issuing executive orders. On the very first full day he was in the job, January 21st, 2001, he went ahead and he issued this global gag order on abortion that the right wing of the party was insisting on. And even though it stepped on his message, which was supposed to be Education Week, the right wing wanted it. He gave it to them. They loved him for it. And the next week, he had another one for him. He had an executive order to establish a faith-based office inside the White House, and that was another winner for the right wing. And that is what presidents do when they come in. They try to appease their base right off the bat, make them feel good and happy, and just pleased that they finally got their guy in.
Getting their guy in, your latest book, Just How Stupid Are We? Facing the Truth About the American Voter. You stipulate and demonstrate the American people get the campaign we deserve. Your thoughts on this campaign leading up to the election of the 44th president?
Well, I think it was a very distressing campaign, wasn't it? I mean, you had both sides really assuming that the American public didn't know very much, and so they weren't going to pitch the political debate at a very high level. Obama pretty much stuck with generalizations, and McCain, my God, he just went off the rails, where he was constantly insulting the intelligence of the public, and it was rightfully so. He was basically saying, you know, if I go ahead and I imply that Barack Hussein Obama isn't a Christian, or my campaign staff does, or we claim that he's, you know, palling around with terrorists, that the public's going to buy this. And a considerable percentage of the public actually did buy it. So it was a very distressing campaign. I mean, coming into the election, after months and months and months of repeated headlines about how Obama was a Christian, he'd gone to this same church for 20 years, the Trinity Church in Chicago, and all the business with his controversial pastors, still in Ohio and Florida, almost 50% of the people believed that he was either a Muslim or they weren't sure what religion he was. Now, that's problematic in a democracy where the people are in charge. They're supposed to know something. It also is a reflection, is it not, on the national media, the national liberal media. I think it's without question now, even now, most recently, the Washington Post, Politico.com, a number of news outlets are acknowledging that the national media was, in point of fact, in the tank for Obama. But it's really goes beyond that. The national media was basically derelict in its reporting on this campaign, according to most critics. What do you think? Well, I don't think this was a shining hour for the media. I do think that the media tend to be, made up of liberal reporters. They were happy to see Barack Obama come in. They haven't liked George W. Bush terribly much over the last few years, although initially they certainly, I won't say they were in the tank for him, but they liked him personally, and they gave him an advantage certainly over Al Gore in 2000. So it's not quite that ideology is driving this. They were fairer toward Bush than they had been to Al Gore in 2000, even though they were liberal then. I think in this case they were sick and tired of the Republicans, and Obama seemed like a breath of fresh air.
Rick, your thoughts here. Are we going to see a left-wing president? Are we going to see Barack Obama take this country decidedly in a left-wing direction?
Well, this is really interesting. We don't know. This is one of the question marks about Barack Obama. He is such a good politician and seeming like an anti-politician that people don't really pigeonhole him as either left-winger or a centrist moderate. So we're going to sit back and we're going to find out. We're going to find out.
Well, indeed we are. Thank you very much, Rick Shenkman. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.